right up there with Miami, and we'll see them against the Heat right here on Wednesday on ESPN. But why has Chicago, despite the injuries, been so good?
Mike, they're number one in 3 critical categories. First, when you look at the road one-loss record, 18-6. Second, Oklahoma with 14 wins. Then when you look at the differential at a plus 9.3, that tells you the difference between points scored and what your defense gives up. They are rock solid. Then, if you're going to win in this league, it comes down to rebounding. When you say plus 5 point, you know that you're doing a job at both ends of the floor. They've overcome serious injuries to key players, and they're still humming right along.
Without Dagan Hamilton again tonight. The MVP is standing by to our MVPs in the studio in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Mike and Hubie. Welcome to our LA studios. If I can't be there in Chicago watching the game, I'm just fine being here with you guys. Wilbon, Broussard, Barry, and Johnson. Things in New York. Not going well is the bottom line, Irvin.
Let him go.
He's giddy. You are giddy. Look at well, it's a mess. I mean, I've been talking to people close to the team today, and the situation is bad. And the bottom line is, you know, the players are confused because some of them want to run Mike D'Antoni's system, but Melo, you know, he's never done these things. He's told people close to him, I've never been asked to do the things I'm doing. So when they come down on the floor, they don't really know what's going to happen. And Mike D'Antoni's going to be the fall guy. And unless this turns around in a Linsane sort of way, he's going to be the fall guy.
Well, you know what? They don't play hard. They don't play well together. And then at the end of the day, why are all the guys there? To me, they went there to be in New York, not to play for the Knicks. They went for the headlines. They wanted to be celebrities. And now they're finding out that Knicks fans love their team, and they better get out of that hanging out and want to be known to everybody in New York and play basketball.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think they assembled too many offensive players. I mean, you talk about Baron Davis and J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire. Their defense played pretty well for most of this year until this group is assembled as it is now. They're playing awful defense, as Hubie said. And offensively, you just have too many guys that need the basketball. Look, Baron Davis, was he going to be happy playing behind Jeremy Lin for 8 minutes a night? I mean, no. He thinks he can be Baron Davis of 5 years ago. Yep. That's not the truth, and that hurts. I mean, guys, you have to respect the fact that you're not going to be the same guy, accept roles, accept lesser roles. They don't have the guys right now in that locker room that will do that.
You guys have talked about this. Who pulls them out of this? You can't expect Jeremy Lin to do it. He's a rookie. No. For all practical purposes, D'Antonio, not necessarily a confrontational kind of coach who can do that. And they're going up against a team in Chicago tonight that is 31-3. They devour teams under 500 at home. 31-3 the last 2 seasons. Do the Knicks say, I've got enough, we got to win this game, stand up and do it?
Michael, is your best player. It has to be Carmelo Anthony. And then at the end of this, Jeremy Lin, you got to cut your turnovers down and get back to playing fast break basketball, because that's where Jeremy Lin is at his best.
The problem is Carmelo Anthony only knows one way to fix it. Give me the basketball.
Derrick Rose and the Bulls, 11-1 this season at home games against teams that currently have a losing record. Knicks, Bulls coming up next.
Back in Chicago, Mike Tirico, Hubie Brown, Heather Cox set for the Knicks against the Bulls. The Bulls have won 9 of their last 10. At 34-9, they lead the Central Division of the Eastern Conference. The Knicks bring out Jeremy Lin, Landry Fields, Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, and Tyson Chandler back in the lineup the last couple of games. And for the Bulls, Derrick Rose, the MVP. We mentioned the injuries with Richard Hamilton and Lou Deng. So Brewer and Korver join Boozer and Noah in the starting 5. Heather, what about all the angst around the Knicks?
Well, Mike, the feel in the Knicks locker room has drastically changed over that 5-game losing streak. It was just 8 days ago that Carmelo Anthony told us the Knicks were finally on the same page, but today admitted it somehow hasn't translated onto the court. Mike D'Antoni also admits the vibe has changed, saying when you're losing, everything feels more exaggerated. One mistake seems like the end of the world. His advice to his team, don't tie your problems together, move on to the next play. And Mike, one story that could have gotten much more exaggerated, the fact that Amari Stoudemire and Anthony played such a limited fourth quarter minutes in yesterday's loss. I talked to Amari about it. He said, I'm a professional. I respect coach's decision. I don't need an answer from D'Antoni. So no one expecting residual effects from the hype surrounding yesterday's loss.
Yeah, the conversation, Heather, is 106-94 final. QB Philadelphia had a 20-plus point lead on the Knicks in the fourth quarter. And Mike D'Antoni had the bench guys in there, didn't come back to the starters when it tightened to 14. He felt like they weren't going to come back, wanted to keep him out with the game the next day. Some people read it as, and just understandably so, they read it as, hey, is he benching these guys? It's hard to go right now because every small move becomes big.
I agree with everything that you said, Mike. But the main thing with this team is they've got to start defending, especially this first unit. And they'll be tested tonight because you have to stop Boozer, Korver, and then naturally Derrick Rose at the point guard position.
Bill Kennedy's our lead official tonight. One of the younger officials in the league, Kane Fitzgerald, joins him, and Tommy Nunez Jr., the Knicks in white. This is another Noche Latina, Latin night. So it's Nueva York and Los Bulls on the uniforms. You saw Rose right in Lynn's face, right across the midcourt line. Chandler to the basket. Tyson Chandler, not wearing that pad on the injured left hand, breaks the scoring steal.
Now, the Knicks will run quite a few pick and roll, pick and pops as we move through this game. At the other end of the floor, there's 5 guys moving, a lot of baseline screen and a lot of down screening.
Rose in the lane. Korver, a great start Saturday night against Utah. Gets going again. Kyle Korver had 26 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and the Bulls win over the Jazz 2 nights ago.
Well, he's in there for the scoring. He's one of the best that we have in catch and shoot.
Lynn from the outside. He has struggled from the field of late. After that great run to begin, we should candidly say the Knicks have played much better teams in this run where they've lost 5 in a row, and they played them mostly on the road.
Well, that's also a major truth. And the big thing is can you hold these teams below their season averages, and then can you do a good job on the boards?
Carlos Boozer short on the shot, and here come the Knicks.
The Knicks will be tested tonight on their defensive rebounding. Chicago, one of the best in the league on the offensive glass.
Fields through to Chandler.
Oh, look out.
Able to stave it alive. D'Antoni thought he stepped out of bounds. Brewer on the pass from Joakim Noah.
This is an unselfish team. They are right at the top of the league, either first or second in assists. And they share the basketball, and they'll move it from side to side and force you to guard the 50-foot width of this court.
Landry Fields on a nice take on Korver. We'll see if the Knicks try to attack Korver on the defensive end here.
I like that. I like to see Fields off the dribble. Now, this is just a good breakaway. Now, once again, the Knicks have got to go transition defense in this building tonight. You're going to be tested. The Bulls will share the basketball, and if you notice that 2-on-1 break, they stayed lane wide, and the defensive guy can't play both players.
Been tough against some of the elite point guards in the NBA for Jeremy Lin over the last 9 games after the great run to start that 9-game stretch where he was extraordinary in stats, kind of settling in a little bit. The free throw split by Fields. Landry Fields, the one that has been very hot the last 2 games, 15-21 from the field. Screen by Noah gave Brewer some space. And there are the Bulls on the offensive glass. What else is new?
No, they're a monster.
As is he, the MVP at 3 for Derrick Rose, whose points are down a little bit this year, but he's taking a couple less shots per game.
The main thing also, Mike, is he's not a great three-point shooter. He only shoots it at 31%.
Lynn off the miss. He's trying to fight and get the ball away from Boozer, and Jeremy picks up his first foul.
Whenever you play the Bulls, when the shot goes up, you know, you got to get blocked out people, and then also you've got to pound the offensive glass. If you're not going to pound the offensive glass, then get back defensively so that you can stop their transition game.
The pick and roll was terribly defended by the Knicks a couple of days ago in San Antonio. Good defense there leads to a Jeremy Lin basket.
Well, he'll attack the rim. He'll attack the rim out of the half-court sets or in the running game.
And Rose attacks back and scores.
This is what I like about them. They're feisty, meaning the Chicago Bulls. You score, you've got to pay attention. They get it in quick, up the side.
First shot by Anthony, off the mark, in transition, it is Rose. Right at Lynn. And Anthony hustling back defensively, but threw it away. Brewer couldn't keep it, out of bounds. We have a loose ball foul, though. Going to stay down here, loose ball foul called on Anthony.
Well, I like it, and also Thibodeau was up, and he was really, you know, on the referee to get the whistle and make sure you got the call. But give Brewer a lot of credit. He kept that ball alive. And that's what they do. You know, when that ball comes off and you get a rebound, you can't fall asleep because they're very pesky in getting a lot of deflections.
Anthony made the good play to hustle back, but lazy and poor play on that pass, and then called for the loose ball foul as Brewer hit the deck. Carmelo Anthony, he'd be right in the crosshairs of this entire conversation because the Knicks were rolling. He came back, and the Knicks have struggled. And a lot of people want to know, is it Anthony not mixing on the offensive end? Is it the lack of defense by Stoudemire and Anthony? Why can't the two best players make a good team better? As Boozer scores to give the Bulls a 7-point lead.
Well, Mike, to answer your question, first of all, they were playing better teams on the road than they had been playing. And then also, you just can't say that it's one guy or two guys. All right, it's 5 guys out on the floor. The problem is this first unit just doesn't seem to have the right chemistry to do it night in and night out. Now, this young guy, Fields, he's got a good game off the dribble, Mike. He'll attack anyone and go to the rim. But when they are really clicking, he can make the three-point shot. Nice.
By Korver, feed by Noah. Lynn's got it for the Knicks on the push with Chandler ahead, and a great bounce from Jeremy Lin to Tyson Chandler.
Hey, Jeremy Lin has excellent vision. In the open floor, he'll get the ball. He'll make good decisions. It's when he gets down into the paint and he runs into 2 defenders, whether or not he can get the ball to the people in the corners.
Is that adjusting to the speed of this game and playing it at this level for the first time?
Well, I agree, Mike. Also, different defenses, and also a guy like Rose. You know, come on, he hasn't played against a guy like Rose.
Great work by Tyson Chandler inside. He got a deep position and a chance to tie the game.
See, I like what we're seeing here. The tempo is great, but it's a Chicago tempo. You're going to see right now, Lin will make the good passes. He'll get the ball, and he's constantly looking up the floor. Melo, good decision. Fine, or you always want to get the ball to your centers and power forwards when they're moving without the ball or on the break. That keeps them involved in the game.
All tied at 12. Got to sneak this in. Don't get to say this very often. Carmelo Anthony has more assists than attempts right now.
Well, we like that. We like that.
But the Knicks like that, and that's what the Knicks need. They need 5 guys playing together. It's been their problem on both ends the last week. Boozer circles the drain, and the 3rd rebound for Anthony.
Big thing for the Knicks is, can you keep up this pace for 48 minutes? And that's been their downfall, falling behind in the 3rd quarter during this 5-0 stretch.
Melo off the wing. Knocks down his 2nd field goal attempt. First one he's made. It's a 9-0 run to put the Knicks up 2.
Now, if you notice, for the Chicago, they have Brewer on Anthony, and then they have Noah on Stoudemire.
Good nice job by Chandler with that left hand that's injured. He and Boozer pushing back and forth. Okay, double technicals here? What's the call going to be from Bill Kennedy? Oh, he's going to get both guys here. Double foul on Chandler and Boozer.
Yeah, they want to eliminate all of this physical contact. Now keep an eye right down there. It's a great strip right there. That was clean all the way by Chandler. Now as they're coming down the floor, you're going to see that they're flaring. I'm kind of surprised that they called a foul in that situation. We're talking about 2 Brahma Bulls out here. I mean, guys that, you know, thrive on body contact.
Of course, Tyson Chandler here for the first 5 years with the Chicago Bulls. He and Eddie Curry were the guys that were going to build around. Stoudemire off the nice feed and the penetration from Lin. So the Knicks have 6 assists on their 7 field goals here tonight.
See, when Jeremy got down in the paint that time, Mike, he had one guy moving on the right-hand side of the line, and then Stoudemire shot moving without the ball. Beautiful.
Korver can't end an 11-0 run. Noah trying to draw the foul. It's 5-on-4 for the Knicks. Landry Fields. Off the mark. Brewer the rebound for Chicago.
Nice.
Great pass to Noah.
They're going to put the pressure on Anthony as well as on Stoudemire in the transition game. As we move through this, you cannot go to sleep. Noah's one of the best that we have at center and power forward in changing lanes.
Lin pitched it out to Amari. He's long. Every player who started the game has scored. Korver's got 1 3. Got 2 3.
He's going to be a headache. He's going to be a headache for you. And we know that the Knicks are aware of this.